There's this quote everybody says everywhere. You see it online. Customers say it, business owners say it, that customers are always right. Is it true?
The purpose of your business is because of the customer.
Yeah.
So being right in a sense of their need, being right in a sense of how you want to serve them, being right in a sense of providing solution towards their request.
Okay.
The customer will always be right. There's been debate every now and then. What if the customer doesn't know what the customer wants? If the customer doesn't know what he wants, but he has an idea, from that particular suggestion, you can tailor the needs or tailor your request towards what the customer would need. So when you say a customer is always right, it means listen to the customer.
How can I know when I'm offering that exceptional customer experience?
For an exceptional customer experience, first thing first, you have to exceed customer expectation. So because if I'm going to score you 100, that means it was beyond good. On the promise and over deliver. That's the word.
Yes.
So imagine you tell a customer who will get this service or product to you in another 15 minutes.
Yes.
But you know deep down that you achieve it in another 7 minutes. And you do it. You've given an expectation and you've beat it out. I'm sure you've had stories where you made orders online and in between the delivery, you are calling and nobody's picking up. If it's food, that's even worse because you're hungry and you're like, oh, hours have gone by. What's happening? I can't hear. Where's my food? Especially when people start sharing stories of how dispatch riders have done this here and there. You understand? So, but imagine another process where immediately you've made your order. At every stage in time, you're getting updates on it. It's at the end of the day, in fact, it blows your mind once it even arrives earlier than you expected.
Yes.
I'm just giving an example there. So it's key to ensure effective communication.
Okay.
Right? And timely delivery for you to exceed customers' expectations.
So those two elements are important.
Very key.
Effective communication and on-time delivery.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Hi, wonderful people. Welcome to another episode of Business Beyond Borders, the podcast where we explore the untapped potential of global businesses. But the world is your marketplace. My name is Dammy, and I am your host. So today we'll be discussing a very interesting topic. It is about you. It is about me. It is about business owner. There was a time I stumbled on an article online that says, "Who is your boss?" And then there's this content in it that says how to satisfy your boss. At that point in time, I was actually looking forward to doing something more in my career and finding a way to have a good relationship with my boss. So I was actually thinking the article would talk about how to manage my line manager or my MD and things like that. But then by the time I'm done with the article, I got to understand that my boss is actually the customer because they are the reason the business is existing. Without the customer, there is no business, there is no MD, there is no line manager. There won't be a reason why they need to employ me if there is no customer the business is tending to. So because of that, we decided to bring to us an expert in customer experience and sales strategy. Is going to help us look into ways by which businesses can enhance their customer experience, ways at which business owner can do better to achieve customer retention and satisfaction. I have today Mr. Tolulope. Okay, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Very fine, and you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So, let us start with this popular quote: "Customers are always right." I've seen a lot of argument. There's this back and forth. There was also a time I feel like, yeah, sometimes customers are not right. But why is that quote still standing till date? That customers are always right. Are they always right?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. And first of all, you made a very good analogy talking about the book you read about who's your boss and your boss being your customer, right? Now, customer being always right, I know it stemmed from, it's a popular saying that's been on for years, right?
Yes.
And probably stemmed from different, customers having requests, either complaints, either requests, either feedback. And, sometimes you just be like, this customer, what he's saying, we can't do it, or it's not possible, and here and there and there and there. But the point is that the purpose of your business is because of your customer, right?
Yes.
And that saying just gives everybody an idea that any request that's coming from a customer or any feedback that's coming from a customer has an iota of truth. It might not be 100% right. It might not be 100% correct. But the point is that he's your customer, and that feedback, you should always, work on it. You shouldn't 100% dismiss it. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, the question is, how do you receive the feedback? So when you say a customer is always right, it means listen to the customer. Do you understand? Pay attention to the customer, irrespective of how the request is coming, irrespective of how the discussion is being channeled. It means pay attention and listen to the customer.
Okay.
So that's my feedback on that.
Okay. Thank you very much. So you're trying to say that when they say customer are always right, they are only letting us know that there is something they are trying to tell us, even though they may not be expressing it the way we wanted.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tolu. So let's really delve into today's topic, enhancing customer experience.
Okay.
How will you define an exceptional customer experience?
Okay.
And what is like the yardstick for it? How can I know when I'm offering that exceptional customer experience?
Okay, great. Thanks for that second question. So, exceptional. It means standing out. It means, it's extra special. It's amazing, right? So, for an exceptional customer experience, first thing first, you have to exceed customer expectation.
Okay.
So, because if I'm going to score you 100, that means it was beyond good, right? So for an exceptional customer experience, it means you have to exceed the customer's expectation. It means that at the end of the day, maybe the customer comparing your experience with a previous business he's done with, there was no comparison, so to say. It was totally different. So first thing first, you have to exceed the expectation. And you're wondering, how do you measure this? How do you measure, number one, effective communication?
Okay.
So at the phase of your business, at that point of communication with your customer, has it been effective enough? Meaning that whatever you communicated, be it terms and conditions, be it the business process, was it clear enough for the customer to get? And also, did you, communication is a two-way thing.
Okay.
Both your encoding and decoding. Did the customer understand? And did you also get the customer's understanding? That's one. Secondly, how efficient is your response?
Okay.
Timely delivery, timely response is key for every customer journey. So you're doing a business, you're offering a product or service. Once you communicate, as effective as possible and timely response, definitely at the end of the day, the customer will have an exceptional experience because you would exceed it. Easiest example is logistics. I'm sure you've had stories where you made orders online and in between the delivery, you are calling and nobody's picking up. If it's food, that's even worse because you're hungry and you're like, oh, hours have gone by. What's happening? I can't hear. Where's my food? This. And you start, especially when people start sharing stories of how dispatch riders have done this here and there. You understand? So, but imagine another process where immediately you've made your order. At every stage in time, you're getting updates on it. It's at the end of the day, in fact, it blows your mind once it even arrives earlier than you expected. Yes. I'm just giving an example there. So it's key to ensure effective communication. Okay. Right? And timely delivery for you to exceed customers' expectations.
So those two elements are important: effective communication and on-time delivery.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So we all know that businesses are there to cater to the needs of the society. They actually notice a need and they decided to provide solution to it. And that is what make up their business. But we get to a point where it seems like we don't understand the needs of a customer, or let me say some customer. We don't understand what they really need. How can businesses get out of that situation where they don't understand the needs of their customer? And what are the challenges that businesses may face while trying to understand the needs of a customer? Because sometimes business try to be proactive. They want to think before a customer will react. But at the end of the day, it seems like they worsen the situation while they are trying to be proactive. So what can you say about it to our audience?
Okay, thank you for that question. And okay. So what are the challenges, right? Like you mentioned with regards understanding the customer's needs. Now, you are in a business for a purpose. Basically, it is to serve your boss, like you said. I think that's what I'll be using throughout this program. I'm talking about your customer being your boss.
Yeah.
Right? So first of all, you have the general challenge, which is competition.
Okay.
A lot of times the question is, what is the competition doing? Probably meeting everything. Is there anything new I'm actually going to be doing? Secondly, the question is, who's your target market? Those are two questions you need to you understand. It's a very broad question because there could be a lot of reasons. Some will say pricing, some will say environment, so many. But I just want to just, talk on these particular two areas. Secondly is, like I said, target market. Who is your target market? Who is your demographic? Who are the customers you're trying to reach out to?
Okay.
What's their age group? What's their environment like? Or do you have a specific environment you want to channel your product or service to?
Okay.
So once you've made that up, then the most important aspect now is market research.
Okay.
So when you're having your market research, the question of competition has been handled already. Because in your research period, you would understand, you would check through it. What is competition doing? What are they not doing well that, okay, this can be my strength? Do you understand?
Yeah.
And following your market research, then you get to know, okay, these are the demographic I can serve with this product. Or you can even say, let me streamline this product to even fit into other demographics because you've carried out a research. Because sometimes a lot of businesses start based on assumption, start based on excitement.
Okay.
Without carrying out proper research. And when you start things like that, at the end of the day, you'll be getting negative surprises.
Yes.
So to avoid that, why not carry out a research? So with that research, it helps plan.
Okay.
It helps easily, it's just like when you are trying to do something and you have a focus. So you get to know when you are hitting it and when you are not hitting it. So those two areas are key. Market research to solve the issues of, competition, right? So you can know where you can have your own advantage. You understand? Your selling point. Then carrying out your target market research.
Okay.
So those areas. Thank you.
Thank you. There's something I also saw somewhere about communication.
Great.
And why I'm bringing it up is because if you remember when you were answering, I think my first question, you mentioned effective communication and on-time delivery. Yeah. So let's look into communication.
Okay.
We have this pre-sale, sales, and post-sales engagement.
Yes.
What can you say about it? How can business manage all these stages of communication with their customer?
Okay.
To really ensure that they don't only achieve customer satisfaction, but even customer advocacy.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Okay, you've highlighted three very important stages of the customer journey, right? The pre-sales, the sales, and the post-sales.
Okay.
So the pre-sales, like it's very simply stated, that it is the journey before the sales comes in. So how does the customer get to find out about your product or service? It's very key. We talked about effective communication. Yes. You need to have a very effective way of getting, customers can easily reach out to you and they can also hear from you. You don't have a business and you just have a phone number, people are calling, it's ringing, nobody's picking up. Or you have a website for the sake of having a website. People are trying to reach you and nobody's responding. Do you understand? Or you have adverts everywhere and all, but it's difficult to reach you. So you need to ensure that remember we talked about target audience. Yes. Who is your target audience? Once you have that, how can you get your product or service across to them? If you have a younger audience, then you need to work more with social media space. Yes. Because if you're targeting the older group that are not very in sync, it might affect, your business communication flow. So what am I saying? For the pre-sales angle, you want to ensure that you are easily reached, right? And you can, get back to them. And what's the purpose of this pre-sales angle? Brand awareness, customer acquisition. You want to acquire as much leads as you can. Yes. So that it ensures that, conversion rates can be measured. Yes. Now, coming to the sales, the customer is already with you. The sales aspect is very similar to the examples we talked about during logistics. How do you ensure that during the transaction phase or when the customer has requested for a product, it's very easy for them to get live updates? You're not leaving them in the dark. You're not leaving them wondering, where's my product or where's the service, how soon? And that's why I also like the idea of when you are, there's a very short slogan that it's always good to, what's the word now? I think, is it, under promise and over deliver. That's the word. Yes. So imagine you tell your customer, oh, we'll get across to you, we'll get this service or product to you in another 15 minutes. Yes. But deep down that you achieve it in another 7 minutes. And you do it. You understand? So you've given an expectation and you beat it out. Yes. So same thing for live updates during, the transaction. Try to ensure that you're always there. You're not in the dark. The customer is not trying to reach you or trying to find out what is happening before the customer is asking. Always be there. You understand? That's why the live update comes in. And the post-sales, business is over, right? At that period. Do you let the customer go? Our banks are perfect examples where irrespective of when or how you've done transaction, is either they're sharing your monthly update with you on your account status or there's something the bank is doing, both the ones that are your business and not. But the point is that they want to make you know we are still very much here. Yes. And it keeps that brand alive in your mind. Before you are thinking of what do you need to do, you just go straight to that. So as a business, Once the customer is done, you are sending product updates. Oh, it could be a review in your prices. Oh, we're still here. Prices have been reviewed for this purpose and purpose. Or you're running a promo. You have your, like you said something about advocacy.
Yes.
You could be running different customer loyalty programs just to ensure that, okay, you create that excitement and people know that, okay, your business is running. You might not need my service now, but if you have a friend, you have a family, this is what we're doing. So you just need to always be in the face of the customer across these 3 stages so that they enjoy that journey and it becomes like a relationship at the end of the day.
Okay. From what you said about being in the face of a customer, when can you know when you're doing too much?
When can you know when you're doing too much?
For the customer, like sometimes brand, I know we are trying to create brand awareness, but sometimes you get to a point where as a customer myself, even though I may be a business owner, but I'm a customer to some business owner, it may get to a point where I'm tired of seeing them all over my face. The way some people send emails, call, text messages. When can you really know I'm doing too much? Or is there no word too much in customer engagement?
Okay, yes, that is true. You have a point. So to avoid this, you just have to ensure that you're not doing the same thing on and on again. You can't be sending the same messages, the same style. And you also need to have a periodic plan. Do you understand? Where it's very strategic. You can't send somebody a message every day on the same thing or the same measure, and before you know it, they just get to either block you or try to, disengage from receiving your messages. So you need to always find out creative ways of getting this information across. Birthdays are an example. I think I forgot to mention that during the post-sales aspect. Even if your customer is done doing business with you, send a personalized message, happy birthday, send gifts,
Banks are good
exactly, very good at it, you understand? So when you need to find a way, that's why we talked about target audience. It's very key. And market research. So you need to constantly review this strategy. What is happening? What is different? How else can you send a message? How else can you send this information? How else can you engage them? And that's where you have things like economic updates, sending things that are very useful. What's happening in the country regarding the customer's business, regarding what they are doing with you. When people see things that they can relate to and are useful for them, I tell you, they won't be the one reaching out. Oh, I've not gotten this from you so far. For example, people are always interested. What's the dollar rate for today? Because one way or the other, it trickles down to affect your business. Do you understand?
Yes.
What's happening with importation, exports? Those are ways of educating the customers. It is useful information. If an information becomes useless, then the customer is not interested. So how do you strategically channel what is useful and in a format that they can enjoy? You don't want to send me 15 pages of something, expect me to open it. I'm in a hurry somewhere. Do you understand? But imagine you create a very attractive, short and concise, because we are in a generation where the attention span is very, very limited.
Yes.
And so if you check out the videos online, the skits, the adverts, with 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 15, you pass your message. So it's key to understand what they need. So you see why research is very key.
Yes.
And it's not a one-time thing. It has to be a continuous, you keep reviewing, quarterly basis, and not just to ensure that you are still in the market and you are still, running business the way it is.
Okay. So you're trying to say that you can't have too much of a useful information.
Exactly.
If you find an appealing way to send it across to your customer.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. What is pain points, and how can empathy help us to understand pain points better?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Now, pain points, you're talking about, in the customer journey, there are specific areas, right? That's areas of concern and also areas where you can score good goals as a business.
Okay.
So those are the pain points. For example, a customer is trying to know about your product. Was it very easy? Was it very convenient to find out? Right? During the business transaction, was the process flow very easy? Were there areas where the customers found very daunting or stressful? So now, when you talk of empathy, looking at the definition of empathy is all about you, putting yourself in the customer's shoes, feeling their shoes. How do they feel? So as a business, if you are aware, you can empathize with customers. It helps you to be proactive. What do I mean? You see things ahead. As you said earlier, we are all customers at some point or the other to a business or the other. So put yourself in that shoes. If you're going through that particular process or you need that request from that company, how would you feel? If at so and so period you didn't get what you wanted, you will be frustrated, so to say. So if you can, proactively plan those pain points ahead, you would be able to create easy measures so that when the customer comes in, it becomes an easy flow.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean now? So it's you putting yourself already in their shoes ahead of time.
Okay.
So you don't even need the problems to appear because you've already, you've done it like a rerun already before then, and it's easy for the process to just flow easily.
Okay. Now let's talk about angry customer.
Okay.
Which is otherwise known professionally as irate customer.
Okay. Yeah.
How can I handle angry customer?
Okay.
And I would love you to really give us example.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to give you one. But sincerely, since you are the expert in this, I'm just an interviewer.
Okay.
So, experts, can you tell us how to handle them and give us like a practical example of maybe the one you encounter yourself or the one you have to like step in as the boss that you are?
Okay, yeah. Being an angry customer, you really would not you can't escape it as a customer service person, even as a business owner, because you always have some third party reasons why things might not go the way as planned, and the customer will always react because everybody's human. You're expecting some things, they don't go the way you plan. Your emotions will definitely set in, and that's where being a professional comes in. So you don't want to, and that is another strategic way of winning a customer. Okay. It's an opportunity. A customer is angry is an opportunity to pass another message of what you stand for as a customer-centric brand. That you put them ahead, you put them before. So you cannot be in a situation where the customer is angry and you're also angry, and at the end of the day, you lose the business, you lose the customers. And there's one thing about, we talked about advocacy. The same thing for referral. An angry customer can be the reason why you lose more customers because of your reaction in handling him.
Yeah.
He just needs to start publicizing and telling everybody, these people don't handle this way. Their business is this and that. And before you know, you thought it was just one customer. You didn't know it would trickle down.
And bad news flies faster.
Yeah, way faster. Way faster. Do you understand? So now, as a business person, be a customer service professional, a business person, you need to take those things very serious. And also, too, when it comes to being angry, sometimes some businesses prioritize, he's an HNI customer, let me handle him differently. He's a regular customer. No, you need to handle them equally with respect, because that customer that you think is retail for now might be connected to somebody that will bring in those businesses. Yes. So it's a strategic area. When a customer is upset with you, you need to first understand they are upset with the process and the business. So listening is a key part of it. Don't be too quick to defend yourself. Do you understand? You want to understand their pain point. You understand where their complaint is coming from. And you need to find a way of not only resolving it, but letting them know that it will not reoccur. Because that needs to be done. Or else the customer will assume that, that's how it's always done. That's how they do it here. So immediately you solve that, let them understand that this will not reoccur, because you need to win back that customer.
Okay.
And what other things again? If you find out that at the end of the day, the customer had a loss because of what happened to the business, you have to find a way of maybe trying to incentivize it. It might not necessarily be money. It might just be maybe on the next trade, trying to find a way of incentivizing that particular aspect. And you asked for an example. Well, I've been in the financial space for a while. Okay. I remember I once managed the team where we had the third party issue. When I mean third party, I mean, bank networks and all, and the customer had a liquidation and funds were not, liquidated as swift as expected. Of course, the customer was so irate and angry. But like I said, first thing first, you need to understand this customer is not angry with you. It's about the process. So we had to listen. In fact, the customer came over to the company and, it was all this drama and all, but we had to let the customer understand that we are working on it.
Okay.
You understand? Yes, we took responsibility. Yes, it's a third party network issue. We made the customer understand, but we made the person, we're not telling you this so we'll just feel that it's none of our business. We are following up to ensure that it is handled as soon as possible. And when it was done, after the drama, took some extra hours, right? Apologizing. And even when the customer left, what did we try to do? We tried to get back the customer, call the customer, right? Even with a senior colleague again, speaking to the customer, it's like you're drawing attention. The customer is like, these guys really care about me. I'm important and all, And of course, when it was the festive period, this customer also got something special just to remind the person that, we're sorry about what happened and we are still very much here in business.
Okay, so
just try to mend the net as much as possible so that we don't create a ripple effect of that's how they do over there. Do you understand? So that's my experience.
Okay. I wanted to go into something I saw your name on, but before that, what you said now actually want to make me ask a question about you saying that when a customer is angry, he's not angry about you. It's not about you. It's about the process of the business. So we should take So are you trying to say we should take our emotion out of it and just face the problem? Is that what you're saying?
You said it 100%.
Okay.
100%.
And that will lead me to a question.
Okay.
When it comes to understanding customer need,
Yeah.
we talk about empathy.
Yeah. True.
And empathy have to do with emotion.
Yeah.
You bring in your emotion to understand your customer need.
Thank you.
Now I want to talk on behalf of customer service executive rep, people that like interface with customer.
Great.
They will tell you when you want to understand their need, put in your emotion, add empathy. But when they are now angry at you, you should take out your emotion and deal with policy. How do you want me to juggle between bringing in and taking out my emotion? I'm actually an emotional being.
Exactly.
I have blood running in my vein. Yeah. So when a customer insult me and he got to me, you know, sometimes you have customers that go as far as insulting your generation and your fathers, your forefathers. Yeah. I'm trying to restrain myself from not saying what I should not say. True. How can I separate myself from the issue? Just help customer service personnel to help with that.
Okay, thank you. So, this is an issue for customer service team members and also business owners. Mm-hmm. Now, emotions has, like you said, you play a role when it comes to empathizing with the customer, just to understand their pain points, right? Mm-hmm. Understand the challenges around and fixing it through. Now, how do you now manage the other side? Mm. So, I believe being a customer service person, customer support, customer facing generally, you are playing a role. Okay. And it's something that I believe you should see like an actor. Okay. When you're an actor, there's a script that you follow. There's a role that you are playing. Okay. Meaning that you are separating your personal self or your personality from it. Even if you are going through some personal challenges at that moment, you try to play that role from what time to what time, maybe your resumption time to your closing time. Not because you do not care, but because you know that the only way you can excellently play the role, especially when it comes to the other side, like the example you gave, is for you to separate your emotions. So you need to see yourself back on that road that, okay, this customer, because truly the customer doesn't know you personally. Yeah. Do you understand? He's just very upset because things didn't go through the way he wanted. And he's, rolling out all insults and all. Yeah. So, like I said, see it as also as an opportunity. Okay. Because some people will come back to you and they'll say, oh, there was a time particularly I spoke harshly. And they handled it so well. We're not encouraging, vulgar attitudes and all, but remember there is a business at stake here. Yes. Because at the end of the day, another experience I've had is that customers will apologize. Yes. When you have handled them well, resolved their issue, they would apologize. And that's like a score point for you already as a person that, you handle this well, that the customer realized that, okay, I know I was too, I was a bit too heavy on this and that. So it's key to understand the role you are playing at that moment. Play your role. See yourself as an actor. Okay. At that period. And it helps you to separate your emotion and deliver rightly. And it's also part of empathy. Because if you look at it, you're not telling yourself that, oh, if I was the one that things didn't go right, I will be angry too. So this customer is angry just like me. So okay, you're now like, okay, you see, so there's a mental picture. You're there. You're framing something mentally and you're handling it. And you know that, hey, no matter how long this customer speaks, it's probably for another 10, 15 minutes and it's going to be done. But so how can I solve it? So you are listening to solve. Okay. You're not listening to reply his anger, what's the word now? To reply his negative words and all. You are listening to solve the issue. Okay. Listen to the main problem. It's just like you have what's the word now? You're trying to, you're achieving an aim and you are separating yourself from the noise. Okay. So playing your role will give you focus on that challenge. I'm here to solve an issue. And at the end of the day, I'm sure the customer will also come in terms. Okay. It's not easy. Sometimes, it's easier said than done. Yeah. It's a lot of processes, but you need to remind yourself every day. And like I've advised my team members at different points in time, if you get to a stage where maybe you personally, you're not really having a good day and the customer comes in with, some negative, you can always pass it over to the next person. Please, could you assist me in handling this customer? Okay. So just for you to just relax yourself and, get back in shape. Okay, so you don't need to always be that strong person. Sometimes, yes, if you've gotten to a point where you can't take it any longer, you can pass over. Because the business is key. The business is key. Have that at the back of your mind. Okay, it's not personal. Okay. And this is also an appeal to our customer. Please help
the people we talk to on the phone, especially the customer service personnel, they are human being like us. So
Blood flow in their
we can try to tone down the way at which we talk harshly to them. So I said earlier that I saw your name on something while I love to research my guests. So I saw that there was a point where you talk about rejection in business.
Okay.
I've read it. I've seen what you said, but I would love you to tell our business owner how to handle rejection in their businesses.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, businesses, that there are things you face every day, and rejection is also part of it. As a salesperson, right? As a business person, right? Where you are trying to, poach a customer, you're trying to, talk about your product and service. And at different times, the customer is not interested. And some would answer you nicely, some would answer you rudely, some would give you attention at least before they tell you a no, and some would not. And it gets you thinking, how do you handle this? Now, first of all, remember, and between you and the customer, number one, there's nothing personal. You need to always get that off. It's not personal.
Okay.
Right now. So, first of all, you handle rejection professionally. However it comes, you need to, it's part of this role-playing thing as a business person. You need to know, why did this customer reject this business? Why is the customer not interested in the business at the period? So sometimes it might be the timing of when you speaking to that customer. It might be the price of whatever you're offering him. It might also be the customer's personal state.
Okay.
Which is part of timing. So timing, he might not need it, and he might not even be in that frame of mind. He might need it, but he might not be in the frame of mind. So you need emotional intelligence in handling rejection, because you need to see beyond that period. And that's why some customers, you try to introduce a particular product or service to them at a point in time, and they might not give you a yes or that period, but you can always go back. Do you understand? And check back with them. The point is that you need to understand why, so that it will help you re-strategize.
So, Mr. Tolu, let's talk about technology and customer experience. In our last episode, we spoke at length about technology, how technology has come to help businesses to become better. So, how can businesses use technology to enhance their customer experience without necessarily losing human touch? These chatbots, AI, attending to people when they ask questions. How can they really utilize it and not lose human touch? Because for someone like me, when I have complaint, I would really prefer to talk to you, human being, because I feel such a person will have emotion to understand me better. But at the same time, business needs to grow by embracing technology. How can we balance this?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And we have some things we've been mentioning on and on and on again throughout this podcast. Number one is we talked about target market, target audience. When you understand the audience and you understand what they need, it will help you to know the technologies to employ.
Okay.
Now, in fact, you've answered a bit of the questions already in terms of one key thing when it comes to technology. You need to utilize how to communicate with them. And if let's break it down a bit. If you know that your target audience, they are the Gen Z, right? This generation, right? They're talking to social media. You have no choice but to be big on it, right? AI, you have to be big on it. And why is that? And so let me give communication channels. I'm talking about social media, right? Talk about your TikToks, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
And your chatbots. You could link it with AI, right? Or human touch. Why do I say so with Gen Z as an example? Because of the attention span. Span, right? Nobody wants to send you a message and probably has to wait for some extra number of minutes before a feedback. That's why people employ AIs, so that it will be easier. You get a very, very swift feedback. And if it seems like you still don't have the answer you want, you can always, click with the options of others. Now, if you're talking with the older generation, we still have the email aspect there.
Yes.
It's key. And if it's an older generation where you know that it's all about phone calls,
yes,
or it's all about WhatsApp conversation, you just need to integrate everything with your system. Having a CRM tool is a perfect example. That's in-house, right? Because once you can integrate them together, it makes your reaching out possible. It makes, it's like your omni-channel processes can be monitored easily. All these channels can be monitored easily. And now, talking of human touch, first thing first, you employ this technology. How do you know they are working well? That's where feedback comes in.
Okay.
At every point in time, you need to request for customers' feedback. How are you guys enjoying this service? What would you prefer? Are you okay with this communication channel? Are you okay with this particular pattern? those feedbacks will help you build. Because remember, you've employed technology, but are they fine with it? Which do they prefer most? You see that you are still getting your touch there. So it helps you know that, okay, this is what they want, this is what they don't want, this is what they prefer. And once you accumulate that data, you get to know, okay, this is what they want. You can push in more opportunities there for people to be able to, get in. Like your question you asked is so similar to Nigeria. Although different times our telecoms, they've tried to simplify our feedbacks, responses they are calling, short codes or short answers. If you want this, click 1, click 2, click 3. Do you have these issues? People would always still go for that option that I want to speak to a customer service person.
Yes,
it's so key. Do you understand? It's so key. So you see that there are different demographics. Some people don't have so much time to waste. Oh, 1, 1, 2, 2 is done. They are done.
Yeah.
But that generation where you need to, spend more time because they want to know that you understand what they are saying, or somebody has had a previous experience with the short code and it didn't work out.
Yes.
Do you understand? You try to employ that service.
Okay.
So in all the communication channels, USSD code is also a perfect example too. Somebody is on the phone, is typing this, and is giving different links. Do you understand? So you can employ those technologies. Then you work on the feedback to know that, okay, they're actually giving the results you want based on their feedback.
Okay. Yes. So can you give us like examples of companies that that have tried to use technology to enhance their customer experience?
Okay, great. So let me bring in with the first one. Let me talk for the more popular one, like Apple products.
Okay.
Over the years, Apple started business with a lot of mobile phone companies, right? But look at the way Apple has evolved. They're still in business. If I ask you now, maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago was BlackBerry this, BlackBerry that, and probably a lot of people, anybody that you see with BlackBerry now, you'll be wondering what's happening. Do you understand?
It's outdated.
Do you get my point now? So how have they stayed in business? They've evolved. First of all, they try to ensure that they meet a lot of market niche, right? From the iPhones to the iPad, everything to simplify. Check the sizes they are producing now. Now, as much as I might not be the number one fan of Apple products, but every year there is always a new brand to look out for. What are they doing? They've created excitement in their customers, and they're always putting something different.
Yes.
Even though that might be an argument. Some say, oh, there's no difference between this and that. But I know there is always at least one or two things different. What are they doing? They are evolving, they are moving, and they are making things easier and more accessible. It's technology. Do you understand? And that's why iPhone is still in business. Now, let me bring it home a bit. Look at the banking industry.
Okay.
I was at the bank, a few hours back, and it was just like 4 inside. And I smiled on a weekday. Before now, you see queues. Everybody, anything you want to do, you have to be on a queue.
You have to go to bank.
Now, look at the way the banking system has tried to simplify your needs. Right there on your gadget with the applications, you can withdraw. You can, some ATMs now, you can deposit. You understand? So they've evolved. Why? Because they understand the customer need and the customer's niche. So if you have a business that you don't understand technology, you've not seen how your business, your customer needs are evolving, you would be out of business very soon.
Yes.
Because people are now looking for convenience.
Yes.
We want to do everything from where we are sitting. Do you understand? You don't want to go out. So those are examples. And, you say, oh, I'm just starting a small business. How do I do this? How do I do that? Start from where you are. Understand their needs first. And the easiest to create an application now is no longer a difficult thing. It used to be a big deal back. It's very, very easy now. Find, how to address those little needs. And from there, your customer satisfaction is already on its way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're trying to tell us that the motive of our business owners should be to satisfy their customers.
Exactly.
Should be to make them more comfortable.
Exactly.
To make the transaction seamless and convenient.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. But what are the metrics, or like they used to call it KPI, to measure customer satisfaction?
Great.
For business owner, how can I know that I'm really doing great with my customer satisfaction?
Okay, great. So for the key performance indicators, right? We spoke earlier about the 3 stages, right? The pre-sales, which the aim of customer acquisition, right? The sales, that's the aim for that is customer satisfaction. Then the post-sales is customer retention. And so this on its own are already, the indicators to measure.
Okay.
No, for your acquisition now, you need to check what is your conversion rate. What do I mean? you're generating leads
Mhm.
based on the adverts you're putting out there, your space of communication. What's the level of conversion to actually active customers? Do you understand?
Okay.
So what's your active and inactive? So you have 1,000 leads. What percentage were you able to convert to active customers? So that conversion ratio is already an indicator of
Okay.
knowing if what you are doing is working. Secondly, customer satisfaction. After every business, you carry out a survey. You get to know, okay, how was this particular transaction? How was this particular survey? How was this particular product rather? How did it go for you? Maybe a fast 5-star rating or a smiley, something very short.
Okay.
With that, you can assess if these customers are truly satisfied.
Oh, no.
Or if they're just okay with your service. If there's nothing exceptional, you still need to dig deep in. Now, when you come to the last one, post-sales, we're talking about customer retention. What's the level of the customers you are retaining? It's not, are they just one-time transaction customers? Do they come? Do they go? Do they come back again? You need to measure that flow of your transaction. You get to know how consistent they are. Do you have a high level of customer churn? So, and how do you also get to find out some of these things? To carry out a general feedback survey.
Okay.
You get to, sometimes as a businessman, you could be so passionate and you assume you're doing what is right. But every now and then, it's part of what you talked about. That's personal touch. You want to know, you want to feel their heartbeat.
Okay.
Are we doing fine? Is there something we overlooked?
Okay.
That's what surveys are all about, feedback surveys. You cannot overemphasize. And that's why you need to plan it on a periodic basis. It's going to be quarterly. It's going to be every 6 months. It's going to be, once in 2 months,
Okay.
just to get their heartbeat. Know if you are still fine. With those feedbacks, you will measure and know. And there's one part of the customer survey I like a lot. Would you like to refer us? That is like one of the biggest questions.
Yes.
If a customer tells you no, you know you have a problem with your business.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's key. Those areas are very key. And so those are the areas where you should always check. What's your conversion ratio of your acquisition? How satisfied are they? The customer satisfaction, then customer retention. How what's the percentage? Is it very low, your retention rate, or is it very high? I guess those are the metrics you need to put in place. Thank you very much.
So to a business owner, for you to understand how well you're doing when it comes to your customer service, he has tried to explain to us by saying you need to check your conversion rates, check your retention rates, check the rate at which your customer can refer someone else to the business. That will really tell you if you are doing a great job.
True.
Thank you very much, Mr. Todo. I'm really enjoying this conversation. So let's go to this quote. I've seen quite a number of quotes of our customers online. They said that we've moved away from the era of transactional to relational. So if there's any advice you want to give our business owner today, how they can also move from I buy from you, you buy from me, bye, let us go. There isn't like a lot of engagement there. How can they move from being transactional to relational? And just tell them things they could do, like handful things they could do to ensure customer satisfaction and loyalty.
Okay, thank you very much. And at the end of the day, the aim of a business is to ensure that when you have satisfied a customer or exceeded expectation, that customer automatically becomes your advocate. He speaks on your behalf in a positive way. So now, moving from the transactional to the relational, it's a key step that ensures that this customer is now my customer. It's not just a general customer. There's a trust, there is integrity. So first thing first, you need to ensure that your process is what the customer can trust. That even if somebody else says something, the customer says it's not possible. Exactly, you've created trust, you've created integrity. So first of all, let's come with your process being fine. Your services that you're offering, what you've said you would do is what you are doing or you're offering. No hidden terms and conditions, so to say. Do you understand? Integrity, that's key. Then secondly, you need to make the customer feel like he or she is a part of the business. And that's where the personalized messages comes in. Your customer cannot have a birthday and you're not communicating to that customer. Do you understand? Your customer cannot have a wedding anniversary and you're not there. Or your customer cannot even be having one celebration or the other. Do you understand? And you don't try to make an impact. Either you're there physically, either you are there, by at least making your presence, engaging them one way or the other. It's, how do I put it now? You're trying to remember, you are moving from what? Transactional to relational.
Yes.
So the customer now sees that, this person is now, I'm part of their business.
Yes.
And like we talked about feedback also, you are carrying the customer along. You let them know that we are interested in what you do with us. So going an extra mile to ensure that you don't take them for granted.
Okay.
in every area. It keeps that relationship open, that even the customer will now give you a very, what's the word now? A very open feedback, even before you ask. Because the customer is now interested in your business, because he knows how interested you are in him. There's a very, very short saying: people don't know how much you care people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
Do you understand? So we also need to find that way of, going the extra mile for the customer, for that to set in, and of course, business will grow from there. Will grow from there.
Right, thank you very much. So to everyone that's listened today, we really appreciate you. Try to ensure that you don't undervalue your customers. The moment they feel like they are not part of the business, they feel like they are just there so that they can pay you some amount of money and then you get your profits, you start chasing them away. You needed to do more than being transactional to being relational. Thank you very much, Mr. Tolu, for gracing our podcast today.
Thank you so much
And thanks to everyone that's tuned in. If you find this conversation very valuable, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your loved ones and everybody that need to hear of this, because your customers, they are important. This will help you to enhance your relationship with them. And at the end of the day, it's bringing you more profits, more customer retention, more customer advocacy, everything a business need to sustain. And don't forget to follow Ria Integrated Ventures on all our social media platforms. And for all your RMB payments, we got you covered. Thank you. We love you. Bye.